Welcome back, everybody. Folks, my next guest is an opinion columnist, a best-selling author, and host of the podcast, The Ezra Klein Show. Please welcome to The Late Show, Ezra Klein. Nice to see you again. It's been too long. The last time that I interviewed you was 2010 on the old show, and neither one of us has changed a bit. Congratulations.
You could have called.
I could have. I've been busy. Now, these days, you're no stranger to the interview yourself. Obviously, as a journalist, you interview people, but you also stream your own show, The Ezra Klein Show. You got a new book right here. You co-authored with the Atlantic writer Derek Thompson. It's called Abundance. And in it, you say that both parties have created scarcity in housing, energy, and scientific discovery. Okay, walk me through that. How do we get there, and why are both parties responsible for that scarcity?
So we've got this simple story of American politics, which is you got a left, a Democratic Party that likes government, trusts it, believes in it, does big things with it, and a right that hates it. And that's not quite right. Both parties have divided souls on the government. The right loves a big national security state, likes surveillance, likes a police state. And the left has a complicated relationship with actually letting government act. You think about high-speed rail in California. You think about the Second Avenue subway in New York City. You think about the Big Dig in Boston. You think about the shortage of housing in a bunch of the places where liberals govern. And at some point, you got to say, something is wrong. In the places where the people who in theory believe in government run the government, we don't have enough homes, enough energy, enough public infrastructure. People are leaving those places and moving to red states where life is cheaper. And that's a problem you gotta confront and fix.
Okay, so one side, I mean, again, this is reductive, but one side believes in the government and one side does not believe in a large role for the federal government. The one side that likes the role of the federal government also doesn't necessarily trust the federal government to do what they're doing without oversight, intergovernmentally. And then the other side would like no oversight and everything for the government does to actually be privatized, which we're seeing a lot of right now. A lot of warnings coming from the Trump administration. They're going to privatize a lot of government services.
Yeah,
okay?
I'll tie it in even more than that. One side likes government but doesn't make it work. The other side tries to make government fail. Those are the two parties.
Okay. Is there something behind door number 3?
Well, there's this book.
Okay. So when you say abundance, why do you call this book Abundance?
Liberals, Democrats have spent decades trying to figure out the answer to the question, what can we subsidize? What is out there that people need that they can't really afford? So we give people rental vouchers for housing, Pell Grants for education, Obamacare and Medicaid for health insurance, et cetera, et cetera. What they don't do a good job of asking is, what do we not have enough of? And how do we make more?
Like housing.
Housing, right? So I come from California. California's a terrible housing crisis. It has in 2022, we had 12% of the country's population, 30% of the homeless population, 50% of the unsheltered homeless population. It is a genuine, terrible crisis, to say nothing of just affordability there, right? I think the average sales price of a home around San Francisco was $1.3 million. And there's no mystery to what happened. We just stopped building housing.
Yeah.
You gotta look at these things, and they have different problems, but you gotta look at them and then work backwards. Say, look, if we need to build more housing, how do we make it happen, right? You can make housing by right to build. There's a lot you can do, but you have to be willing to do it. You have to break processes, you have to change them. We don't revisit enough of our institutions. We have to renew them, or you're gonna have people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk who come in and tear them apart.
Which reinforces the idea that government can't work because you've hobbled a department by hollowing it out, and then people's faith in government efficiency falls even further, and you get more of a groundswell to destroy the thing that you're in charge of.
Yeah, they are right now, as we speak, gutting the Social Security Administration. There is functionally nothing in government as efficient as Social Security. It is a bureau of people who send checks to elderly people.
Ponzi scheme, though. Elon says it's a Ponzi scheme.
Look, they don't want it to work. And then the fear a lot of us have is they're going to make it fail, and they're going to say, see, it doesn't work. And now you need me to take it over. It's not just that they're trying to make it not work, right? If all Elon Musk was trying to do was make government fail, that's one thing. They're trying to break it so they can take it over. And I think
Very
it's
much
really
like after the
important to keep that
Soviet
in mind.
Union,
Yes.
everything that was state-controlled got privatized, and that's how you
Yes.
rose another class of
You
oligarchs.
have Elon Musk go into the FAA and say, oh my God, I've walked in, I've discovered we need Starlink immediately. Oh, do we, Elon Musk?
Who owns that?
Yeah, it's a funny question. So this is not, I think if you wanted to look at what they were doing, it's pretty straightforward. They're breaking the government so they can control it, so they can parcel it out.
So why abundance, though?
Because I would like a future that is better than the present.
You have children.
I do have
children.
children.
What's the future you hope for them?
I hope for a future of change, right? So on the one hand, I would like them to live in a future where there's housing, where there's clean energy. I would like them to be in a future where the public infrastructure is better. I would like them to live in a future where this world and this country feel dynamic and humane. Something that's in this book a bit, but is coming. Something that is in this book a bit, but is on my mind a lot, though, we're about to get hit by AI like a truck. And one of the things I both hope for them and worry for them is that they live in a future that values human beings. We have for a long time pushed human beings to act like machines. The economy it values us for what we can do, create, the box we can fit in. Now we're creating these machines that are going to be able to do a lot of the work, particularly the cognitive work of human beings. And we have not really thought about what we're going to do with that whole value structure. The point of abundance isn't just to have more of stuff, right? Not just more flat screen televisions. It's to have the things that people can build a life on. But that's not just social insurance or infrastructure. It also has to do with how we value each other, the dignity we afford to each other. And as we're about to sort of move through this period, which it feels like an event horizon to me, right? Genuinely, I don't know what this world will look like in 20 years in a way that I think is unusual. We are going to have, I think, a little bit more of a central role for human dignity, for the value of people as people. Or as we develop these computers we've taught to mimic people, things are going to get very unruly and unkind.
Let's leave it there. Ezra,
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Abundance is available March 18th. Ezra Klein, everybody. We'll be right back.